Hey everybody, Rachelle Jones Luncheon Live at, 11:44, but it's 11:45 almost. I like to just come on early and make sure. Hey Nicole, my goodness. Hey Cheryl, wow, thanks for joining. Thanks for being here, everybody. And to all of you who are on the way, thank you for joining. Also, let me know if you watch the replay. Send me a note. Yeah. Hi Gaps. Hi. New Year's love to all of you. So, the new year. I don't know why, but I've been getting this type of information, this type of comment, it's just everywhere. And so I just wanted to talk about it a little bit and get us thinking. So, about kids. I personally believe kids are absolutely magnificent and marvelous. And they come to this world perfect. They come to this world exactly the way they're supposed to be. Regarding feelings, they communicate their feelings perfectly, don't they? Don't you notice that about kids when they're born? They don't care if you're busy or you've got friends over, or if you're tired or you're in the shower or you're in the bathroom. They don't care. They're going to communicate their needs to you if they want to be held or changed, especially their feelings of discomfort. I think a lot of us don't have trouble as adults even communicating our needs when they're joyful or lighthearted. But we all can have trouble communicating our needs when they are heavy or uncomfortable. But we weren't born that way. We were created that way. We were created that way through experiences, through the things through how people responded to us or didn't respond to us when we had a need, when we communicated like a heavy, sad, painful, I'm going to say negative, although I don't believe it's negative, I'm going to say sour feeling. We weren't born that way. We were created. So if you think about the children around you, the younger the better, they're the ones we actually should be watching and learning from. But you know what we do? We change them. We shape them. We want to mold them in to be more like us. Why? Because we're hoping they're going to avoid pain. We don't want them to be, looked down upon or ostracized or cast aside or made fun of or not included in or accepted in some way, right? Approved of in some way. We want to protect them from fear and shame, but we also do it because we want to protect ourselves from fear and shame. If our kids are acting up and people are looking at us, and how many of us parent, or even if you're not a parent but you're a teacher or you're an aunt or an uncle or just some other adult in the world, a coach or whatever, how many of us, I'm going to say parent, even though we're talking about other than that, parent out of our embarrassment versus the kid does have a right to say that, or, whatever. How many of us really respond out of our own embarrassment, our own fear, our own shame, our own worry? What are people thinking? What are they seeing? Oh gosh, they're looking at me that certain way. How many of us do that? We're not even necessarily connected to the moment and the needs of the child. That we start fixing and changing based on those people's needs over there who we don't even know. It's interesting, right? They came to us perfect, but through experience, time and time and time again, we keep changing them to be more like the imperfect world around us. It's baffling to me. So often today, I see kids having completely normal and natural reactions to a bunch of heavy, painful, emotional energy around them. They stutter. They cry, they're withdrawn, they're nervous. You can see kids who are kind of anxious. They have weird attachment styles, you can read a whole lot about attachment styles. It's easy to find. There are a lot of books and information about it, or even on the internet, a simple Google search. They, what else do? They can't concentrate. They don't sleep right. They eat weird or funky. They have behavior issues, concentration issues. Kids have all sorts of things. And the more they try to express their needs, I'm talking heavy, painful, emotional, their grieving needs, the more we respond in a way that's not helpful, the more they continue the behavior or the pattern or the attitude or the action, and it gets more and more and more intense, or they withdraw completely, the more we don't respond in a healthy and well way, useful, helpful, productive way, and take those kids further away from the way that they were born, the more we're inserting more and more and more grief into their life. And the thing is, we see these things in our kids, and you know what I hear all the time? Well, I'm putting my kid in therapy. Well, my kid needs to go to therapy. I need to get my kid a therapist. This child needs to go to therapy. That child needs to go. You need to get your child into a therapist. When really what's happening is they're doing exactly what we taught them to be. Or they're doing what we taught them to do. We didn't give them tools and skills, and so then we put them in some type of therapy, which, there are times I definitely believe in therapy, and if you put your child in therapy, excellent, but I absolutely don't agree that only kids should go to therapy or grief recovery. Put your kid in therapy, but you go through therapy also. You go through grief recovery. You go through something, because your child is however they are, in part because you didn't know how to help them when they had stuff going on. Or what you did help them, the things you helped them with weren't effective. We have to take a sense of ownership over what's going on with our children to some degree. And even if it's like an actual, mental, emotional issue, they definitely need some sort of assistance, but you've got to re-educate yourself too. Take a look at yourself. If we think about it, we just arrive in adulthood through a bunch of experiences that piled up on us, and then the years kept passing and suddenly we're called adults. That does not by any means make us professionals, experts. It just makes us survivalists. But do we want to teach our kids to just survive? Or do we want them to thrive as well? Do we want them to take this life by the horns and just own it? And just explode into something amazing? We're breaking their spirit. And then we tell them, you're the problem. There's something wrong with you. You're damaged goods because we put them in therapy, but we're fine. We're not fine. We are in part responsible for why they are the way they are. And that's not bad or it's not meant to say bad or good. It's just meant to say we have to take time to learn or unlearn and then relearn something new, correct, and helpful. Does this make sense? So I'm curious, what kinds of thoughts or attitudes or just questions do you have about that? Because as long as we are putting all responsibility on the children and we aren't taking time to be different, make a change, be the change, live the change, go through life from a point of learned wellness, we're not going to be able to teach it. And if our child is doing something and we don't know what to do with it, it's okay to not know, but it's up to you to go get educated. So that's what I do. I work with the adults. I will not work with children unless I'm sitting with I actually don't work with children. There's a little bit of stuff that I will do to help parents, but I work with adults. I work with caregivers of all kind, whether they're your child, your biological child, your stepchild, your foster child, your student in your class, your student at church, I don't care who you are. If you ever have child within your care, if they're your grandchild, your niece, your nephew, I don't care who we're talking about here. I only teach adults because they're the reason the child is struggling. And maybe it's their friends around them, but they're not learning how to cope and what to do because we're too busy telling them, well, you should find different friends. Well, you should just do this. Well, you should. Well, guess what? All that stuff isn't working. That's why it's building up. That's why the kid's having the reaction and the response and the behavior changes that they are, because our fixes don't work. Did you know people don't need to be fixed? They need to be heard with dignity and respect. Even our children. And when we constantly jump into the you need to, you should, well, you got to get a new friend, let's switch schools, we just start hopping around, but we're not teaching skills. We've got to teach our kids life skills. And not just some willy-nilly, well, this is what I've always done skills. Some skills that have been proven by science to be effective year after year. This grief recovery method's been around for over 40 years, and it's proven by science to be effective. So we don't mess with it. We don't change it. We just teach it. The specialists do. So what are you wondering about that? I see here that learning is powerful. Yeah, it absolutely is powerful. Absolutely. And we can't really learn until we come from, an awareness that we need to learn. If we just believe we've got it totally figured out, but yet I've got my kid in therapy, but I think I'm fine, we've got to look at that. I do believe if kids need a safe space to be able to express themselves, that's fantastic. That's beautiful. Good on you. There's some learning and some work that's going to be done in there. I think it's fantastic. But this is a call to the adults around. The adults around, I just have a hard time. My kid needs to go to therapy, or I put my child in therapy, or that child needs to go to therapy, or they're going to put their child. I'm looking for a good therapist for my child. Great. What are you doing for you? So we've got to stop putting all the pressure and the world's woes on the children. They don't run this world. Think about it. Who's got control in your home? The kids don't make the money, pay the bills, make the decisions. They don't do that. It's up to us to learn and re-educate. So, by the way, January is my business anniversary month. It's my favorite. This is so big and so powerful to me. So, in January is the only month of the year I give sales, take 30% off people's enrollment of any style of class. I do have a 2-day class coming the 25th and 26th of January. That's an in-person 2-day class. So you have to be here, fly in for the weekend. I don't know what you want to do. I'll help you get a hotel set up if you're coming from out of town. But that's a 2-day class. It's over the course of a weekend. Any one-on-ones or group sessions you decide to sign up for. Hi, Melania. Thanks for joining, babe. You're allowed. I'd love to have you. Any one of you. Whatever combination we need to work out. But that 30% off is only effective for the month of January. So those enrollments, I do have a little bit of space. It's actually quite full at this moment. So if you want one of those remaining spaces, I would encourage you to act quickly, because there's a lot going on in people's hearts and lives, and boy, I sure do admire the people who just are willing to learn something new. So what kind of thoughts and wonders are we having? What have you noticed or seen, or what do you honestly need help with? It's not an experiment, this grief recovery method, not an experiment. But just raising kids and hoping they'll turn out right sounds a little bit like an experiment. We've got to learn actual tools and put them into practice, because our kids are only going to know what we and the other people around them teach them. We've got to take ownership for what they're going to know. We've got to take ownership for their resilience, for their perseverance, and just pushing them along and having them drag all their pain with them is not resilience, friends. They are eventually going to tire out, and we're seeing that show up. Why are kids having anxiety? Why are kids on anxiety meds? Why are kids on depression meds? Why are kids on... Okay, if they need it and that's going to help them through a pocket of time, but let's make sure we as adults, the people in charge of them, are also looking at how to teach them resilience tools, effective. I know in this moment, I took my kids to the mall, I think yesterday actually, and I don't remember doing that kind of ever, unless they were in a stroller. So we're talking a long time ago. We just kind of perused the mall. We really didn't have an aim, just looking around, and they got into a scuffle. I don't even know what it was about. I could just see the energy, what's going on here, and they each know. So I said, you need to do this right now. Jump in. Nope. Do yourself. Well, one of them saying, I don't feel it. I don't want to do it. I don't feel it. And Well, how can you feel it? How can you feel different until you take the action? How can you feel different about, your body shape if you don't take the action of going to the gym or eating differently? So this is emotional fitness. This is emotional exercise. This is emotional action so that you can be emotionally well. That's what this class is. We're all paying attention to our physical fitness and trying to eat right and exercise. But if you ignore the inside of you, the outside is going to end up the same. It's just how it is. And then you're going to teach that to the little people around you or the other people around you. So we really have to take ownership. And part of creating a different us and a different them is owning what's on the inside and taking ownership and healing and being well with that. So what are we wondering here? Nicole says, hi, Nicole. Let's see, Gabby waved. I've got a lot of waves. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Oh, hey, sir. How'd it go today? I won't say what we were doing, but how did it go today? So, everybody, 30% off for January of all enrollments of all kind. I hope I get to hear from you soon. You can find me on my website, griefrecoverywithrachelle.com. You're on Instagram at this moment, so you can look me up on my profile, whatever the bio is. You know how to find me on Instagram if you're already on Instagram. Look me up on my website. I'm all over all the different social medias. I'd love to have you in a class. This is the time to do it. Start your year off strong. These tools are for, to be helpful with what people have already experienced, but also they're to be helpful for what's coming in the future. Because we don't know exactly what's coming in the future, but we know stuff's coming, right? We're not so naive to think, oh no, nothing's ever, if I just insulate my kids and do everything perfectly, then they're never going to have a feeling. That's not accurate or real. We know that. We can't just be kind enough, good enough, work hard enough, do enough. We can't do it. We cannot protect them from every known possible thing. So we've got to learn how to educate them, which is only going to come through our own education, so that they can definitely be resilient in their life. This is resilience training. It's not accidentally I woke up and I was okay when I turned into an adult. This is step by step. I'm going to make sure of it. So you let me know. Let's see. What does this say? Setting a good example by showing our kids how to heal is invaluable. Absolutely. My kids know this. Both of them know this straight off the bat. Sometimes they're a little resistant because they're frustrated in the moment. But I hear you. You're allowed to be frustrated. Just do these actions anyway. We need adults around us who will let us do that and hold us to that standard as well. I know you don't feel like it, but do this series of steps right now with me listening anyway. We need people around us who know how to help us in the moment. Instead, they say, well, time heals all wounds, or you're not gonna you're not gonna get anything you can't handle, or you're strong, you could do this. They tell us all these things, but those are actually incorrect and unhelpful. So we need adults around us who know what this is, know how to do it, and know how to listen, know how to help us express. There are specific components that need to be expressed. We need to learn those. It's not a matter of just venting. No, there need to be very clear and specific elements in our venting, and I guarantee you're not doing it, because none of us are, unless we've learned it and been and told and walked through it. And this is not a one-time deal. If it's like, I've been through grief recovery, I went through it 5 years ago, 3 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, I've been through that one time. Okay, do you shower one time? I showered one time. I washed my hair that one time. I brushed my teeth that one time. I ate a salad that one time. Are you kidding? That's not wellness. That's not healthy. This is not a one-time deal. This is daily lifetime application. And I will love to show you how to do that. So let's see. Monkey see, monkey do. Absolutely. The kids are going to do exactly. Hi, thanks for joining. Kids are going to do exactly what we have taught them to do. So we want to be 100% certain that what we have taught them to do is effective. And the grief recovery method is. That is why it's able to be proven by science. If you'd like to look into more of that, griefrecoverymethod.com. I believe it's called, what is the tab? It's griefrecoverymethod.com, and the tab might be scientific evidence or something. It's a tab at the top. It's easy to find. So you're welcome to look up that. that work. It is phenomenal. If you'd like to know more about Grief Recovery Method, give me a call, give me a text, give me an email. I'd love to talk with you. Everybody, I sure love you. I'm thankful for your time. Any more thoughts, wonders, feelings? What are you wondering? As you know, I usually do Grief Recovery or Lunch and Live 11:45 in my car. So we get ready to go back. If you have any final thoughts, let's see. Nicole said, well said, Jones. Sir Paz, thank you for joining. Leilani, Nicole, everybody, thanks for your time today. Thanks for being here. Just really take that in. I hope you take that in and you find it to be helpful for you, that it opens your mind up to new ideas and new concepts. And perhaps, hey, I did just show up to this and I've read some books and I've done some stuff. There's a whole lot of self-help books in the self-help section. There are thousands of them. There's only one method in the world that's proven to be effective by science, and it's the grief recovery method. I know there's a lot of stuff out there that could potentially work. It could, but we don't know for sure. This one's proven by science. I use it a lot every day. I need to be using it even more in this current moment, to be honest. Well, everybody, I love you. Thanks for joining. Thanks for your time. New Year's love and hug. I love you too. Thank you. New Year's love and hugs to all of you. I have a hard time saying Happy New Year because not everyone feels happy. So there's that. But I hope to see you next Friday, Lunch and Live at 11:45. I'll be back in my car. And yeah. Talk to you all next time. Bye, everybody.